Adventure is Nigh has a really big disc.
Big disc energy.
Well, an average-sized disc. I'm, of course, talking about the Adventure is Nigh Blu-ray discs. Season 1 and Season 2 of Adventure is Nigh are now available to own. That means you can watch the river crossing shenanigans of your favorite adventurers, even if there's no more internet. These blue discs include every episode of Season 1 and 2 beautifully remastered, Q&As, behind-the-scenes content, and a commentary track on every single episode. Honestly, we probably shouldn't have done that. We get sidetracked easily. I don't know if you've seen The Substance.
I was going to say, I was waiting for a break so I could be like, let's talk about how they use nudity in The Substance.
Head on over to our DFTBA store to order your copy or go to adventureisnigh.horse. It's a real website.
Ooh, yeah. I think it worked out. Hey, everybody. Welcome to RPG Help Desk. How are y'all doing today? To cover... Oh, actually, good. That stuff that says I will write stuff here, I'm actually going to write stuff there. Good morning, Cardadine. Hey, Deshin. Discordia. Keeper Days. Thrillgamesh. Lume. Hey. Sir John Arbuckle. And also, the Mouth of Sauron. One of my favorite characters in that movie. The Lord of the Rings. Hey, Sylvia. Sylvia Ra? If I'm saying that right. The character design for the Mouth of Sauron, I think, is so good. That just big, weird mouth talking. Just bought a Barad-dûr card as trade father while I was on lunch. Well, neat. Silvera. Okay, cool. Well, now I know. Hi, Cardadine. What's a Barad-dûr card? It was great and strange. Yeah, he's so weird. He's just a weird little guy, and that's what I love about him. He's not a little guy, but whatever. I have a bunch. I have like 6 questions from last week from people. But if people have more questions this week, you are free to ask them. Worst case scenario, I have to do another next week. We'll do more. Actually, I think I have a guest next week, but no, next week is the Indie Showcase. Y'all know we were doing an Indie Showcase, the game showcase. That's next week. So there won't be, I think it's a Jack and Jess's stream won't be here because it'll be that time, and same with the Indie Showcase. Hope all is well. All is pretty well. I hope all is well with you too. Well, like locally. Again, state of nation. Wild. But like right here, pretty great. Late but present. Hey, Duranithal. You just made it. I was about to shut down the link so no one else could come in. Oh, it's a magic card of Sid Tower. Oh, okay. I thought that might have been what it was, but I wasn't sure. Showcase like Mortar usurps the other stream. It does. It's going to take over the other ones for one day. But I'm very excited about our big game showcase. If you haven't seen, we have a little trailer for it that shows some of the games that are going to be shown at the showcase. Funny how that works. And honestly, already very excited. There were several games that I was like, I want to know more about that. Most of them looked very horror-y. Not most of the games in the showcase, but most of the ones that I was very intrigued by. So I think that means we're probably going to have a pretty good mix. I'm not the one directly working on it. I'm like doing some side stuff with it. But I am very excited to see how this goes. And then, of course, we have Doke or Die on next Saturday, I think. Hey, Talk. Which I'm also looking forward to that. It was all fun and games until the horror showcase attacked. Oh, no. Wait, I can do this. You ready for this? I gotta look around my microphone. Oh, no. Why didn't that work? Hang on. Oh, because I hotkeyed the wrong stuff. Oh my gosh, what is happening? I think I hit Windows. There we go. There's the question someone asked. That'll be our first question. What does RPG Helpdesk have for us today? It has for us today additional questions from last week that I did not have time to answer, including the one that I just put up on the screen. This is one that I'm very curious about other people, because I feel like this is one that is very, this was from Julia Goodwin. Julia, if you're here, awesome. If you're not, I hope you see it later. And if not, well, I hope other people get something good out of this. This is one I'm very curious about what other people think too. Like, I want to know what your thoughts are as well. And Julia asks, how can I tell if the GM is going to be good or not? What red flags do I look out for? I think one is definition of good. Because there's kind of two, there's probably more than two, but let's just say there's two ways you can go about that. There's good, as in is going to play the type of game you want to play, like RP focused, combat focused, drama focused, comedy focused, whatever. And then is going to be a good cat wrangler and like help players and be cooperative, versus I wrote a novel and I want you all to play it, or this player is bullying all the other players and I'm just okay with it. So those are kind of two avenues of good. For one, I feel like good of, is this the type of game I want to play, is, start with communication, just asking, like, even saying like, okay, well, how much of the game do you think is going to be combat? How much of the game do you think is going to be, RPing? So little things like that can help kind of shape the understanding of where the game might go. Knowing what system it's in, is semi helpful. Like, D&D and Pathfinder are definitely more combat focused, but that doesn't mean it's going to be almost entirely combat. But they're more focused that way. So what system it is might help with that. You probably have more than like a Brindlewood Bay. Not going to be very combat heavy, probably. So that's another thing to look for. And ask the DM what they want out of the game. And if they're like, I want some great fights, well, then you know probably where they're going to go with it. So that's one way. And then I feel like is this going to be fun because of the mood and the vibes is the next question, which some people already posted their stuff, so I really want to read it. Ooh, Deshin has a follow-up. Ooh. We're going to get into that, Deshin. Hang on. Let me mark that down so I don't forget. Burp, burp, burp. Sir John Albuckle saying railroading the players for their own plot, perhaps. Yeah, I feel like that's one where that's more of a, that's a red flag in the game. That's probably not something you'll know before you're playing. But yeah, if you're trying to do something and the DM keeps just pulling everybody one way or just straight up saying no to, I'll say reasonable things, because there's some things where, you might be like, oh, I want to do this. It's like, you can't go to space. This is a low magic fantasy setting. No one's making it to the moon. I'm sorry. That's not in reason. But if there are things within reason that's like, oh, well, I would like to, attempt to drop kick someone off a horse. All right. not exactly a straightforward roll or a thing you might have like a stat for, but like, okay, sure, you could try. Here's the thing to roll for it. So yeah, railroading definitely a problem. And again, if it is something happening, you can talk to your DM about it and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to go in this kind of direction. Do you see that as a problem? Is that going to be an issue?" And then allowing that, if they're like, "Yeah, I don't want you to," it's like, "Okay, well, red flag." Or they might be like, "Oh, you know what? That's okay." And maybe they're not quite noticing how railroady they're being. Speakeasy saying vibes based on a lot of DMs are built differently. Oh yeah, there's just the attitude, the level of humor or seriousness, the dynamic of the group. Yeah, all of that. Less of a you could see the red flags coming, but just playing and then feeling what is a red flag as it pops up, or just what is undesirable to you, because there's some stuff that you don't want that isn't necessarily a red flag. It's just not what you want out of a game. Like, I don't want endless combat, especially if combat doesn't suit the story. For me personally, that's a bit of a red flag just because I'm not going to have fun, but it's not a red flag like that's a bad DM. Talk says insist on session 0 and really listen. Yes, if they don't have a session 0, I at this point, for how often I've done session 0 and like what I've seen session 0 people miss out on, um yeah, it's I feel like it's a necessity. There's ways to get around it, like, oh, okay, we've done so much work talking in the Discord server every day and answering questions that we've basically done the session 0 beforehand, but I still like the sitting down, being in the environment in which you are going to play and having that interaction. I think helps a lot versus just we've discussed a lot of things. It's different. It's really different when you are in the environment you're going to be interacting in. So yeah, not having a session 0, bit of a red flag, I think, but doesn't have to be. And then in session 0, what happens? Is it just everybody kind of says their thing and nobody listens to each other and nobody's playing off one another and nobody's asking questions? And then, yeah, that might be a bit of a red flag. The people might be focusing more on themselves rather than everybody else or anybody else. So a lack of interaction. And if you're seeing it not happen, try and engage it. Like, try and ask follow-up questions and stuff and see if people reply. And if they don't, then that might be, a bit of a, oh. It could also be people are new, people are nervous. It doesn't necessarily mean that, it's going to be a bad time, but it's something to be aware of. Silvera says, look for how stubborn the DM can be. I feel one needs to be flexible no matter what system they're using. And railroading is what they call it, I think. Yeah. Silvera, if a bit of, I guess stubbornness and railroading can be different things because you could be stubborn and not necessarily railroady. Like, no, you can't use there's no rule for using the flat side of an axe to do blunt damage, so you're not allowed. You have to use the sharp end in your attack. Like, all right, come on. You can't, the axe doesn't disappear if you just use the wrong side of it. Like, it does less damage, it's harder to hit, it's something, but like, it is physically possible. Be loose enough to accept that is a possibility, that that's something someone can try. So yeah, that would be like stubborn without railroad. And as someone that always tries to think of really weird things because that's really fun, for me that would be an issue. For some people it'd be like, oh, I can only use the stuff is statted for the sharp side of the axe. Okay, I'll just use that. That might not be an issue for them. That's why communication is important. Marathi, my other thought is, are you having fun? Yeah, are people having fun? Like, does the DM want to play, or is it a little bit more like, "Ugh, I'm I'm here because I have to be, or I'm here because no one else will run the game, or I'm here because this is the only way I have to express the story I want to tell that other people are now semi involved with." Also, I think YouTube is working, but I don't see the chat moving, so. Or maybe no one's over there. Hooray for Session Zeros. Yeah, Discordia. Session Zeros are so good. They're just so good. Oh, hey, Flambada. All right, thank you. Thanks, Flambada. Severa saying ran Living World session, so Session Zero is more of an intro for each player. I feel like it should be. That's a good way to get familiar with the characters and like their place in the world, how they might know each other. Like, there's a lot you can do with that. It's so good. Incarnating, I feel like a lot of what makes a good DM is subjective. Totally agree. If you can sit on the couch during a few sessions, I would think it would help you get an idea if you mesh with the dynamic. I agree. Being able to sit in on a game is very useful. Hearing how people talk to each other, how they react to one another, all of that is like super helpful. If you're like especially gung ho or like very ADD, that might be a bit harder because you just want to be in the game. I tend to not sit in on a session. I'll just jump in with both feet and then after a game or two figure out, oh, this is not my jam. I'm going to leave. Because I have a hard time it's paying attention to a game that I am not playing. I think that's part of why I don't like most sports, because it's like I'd rather just be playing at least a game, not necessarily that one, because some of them sports just be real boring. Sorry, but yeah, I agree. If you can sit in on a session, super useful. We'll let you know again everything we talked about earlier of like, how do people respond to each other? Are people being nice or mean? Are they adapting? Do they play off of one another, which is green flag, versus shutting each other down, more of a red flag? Talk saying it's also good to establish the tone/atmosphere of the group you're going for. In some games, a half griffin bard is a good fit. In others, it may not be so much. And that's okay. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing of like session zero and pre-session zero, saying like, oh, I want to be a half griffin bard. Is that going to work in this world? Good thing to learn about. DM taking control over a PC is an absolute no-go for me. But that's something later in the game. Yeah, I agree. Keeping player agency, I feel like, is incredibly important. Having to, a DM say, well, you do this. There are things of like, you failed a roll and you fell. Or what I really like, too, is a thing in the superhero Cypher game I'm playing, and that Fate does and that our system do, is GM intrusions, where you are like, oh, I want you to fail this roll, or I want to complicate this in a weird way, or I want the super cool thing you did to not work exactly how you want it to. And then you give the player something and say, will you accept this complication? If so, in a Cypher system, you get a bit of XP. In Fate, you get a Fate point. And so you can decide like, oh yeah, so last week a person in the superhero game like jumped and landed on a roof and was like gonna like do a heroic thing, and the DM offered an intrusion of, you don't land exactly where you mean to. And she was like, okay, and took the XP and then landed on the roof and then heard it crack under a like huge person, like big muscle dragon person, collapses under the weight and they fall all the way to the ground inside the building versus being on top of the building and looking at everybody on the outside. And that got him to be able to introduce new things that were happening inside the warehouse that he wanted us to engage with, and kind of wanted to have a little bit of a party split of inside and outside the warehouse. And it worked out really well because it wasn't just a, oh, you crashed through and haha. It was an offer, and the offer was accepted. One party gets stuck, and a DM needs to be willing to relax and change something to help them out, says Silvera. Yeah, absolutely. That's another green flag. If they're stuck and like the DM just kind of lets people waddle around, that can be a bit of a red flag. Sometimes it's like the DM letting people try stuff out. I know I do that sometimes. And again, this is a very group dependent thing where I've had some groups where intervening feels disruptive, and other groups where if I don't give them a clear destination, they'll run in circles. And neither is bad for a group. It's just knowing what the group dynamic is. Learning it and then properly applying good procedures, good conduct, good ideas. I'm here because I'm the only one that can afford all the books, says Incarnadine. Yeah, that's big thing. Hey, Hepix. Yeah, I'm surprised. YouTube is fairly quiet today. Normally, YouTube is like at least as busy as Twitch, if not more. And the VOD is over there. It's true. Discordia saying session zeros are great for getting your character to play off one another in setting. Absolutely. Getting more familiar with the setting, each other. Like, I really appreciate in the game, the superhero game, we had 4 things we had to do in our session 0 for world building, and it was create 4 NPCs or related things. So we had to have a relationship that is healthy. That's like a good, friendly, something relationship. It could be, a significant other. It could be a family member. It could be a good friend. Could be a mentor, something like that. Didn't matter. Just had to be a positive relationship. We had to have a stressful relationship. We know someone that is taking up a lot of our time. It is something that we have to work at. There was a superhero NPC that you are familiar with and that knows you. And then how you know one of the NPCs from the other players. So, like, my character, who is the Pharmacist, had to, as volunteers for a nonprofit, and that was the stressful relationship. And, is constantly underfunded there, and is, it's a organization that's trying to help people that have lost a car or a home or something to superhero fights and things like that are or have medical bills from being collateral damage. And then healthy relationship is a friend. The superhero I knew was my favorite go-to. I just think it's very funny as a hero, is a nun that duals wield pistols. And the connection was the lawyer that someone else knows, and is the lawyer who works at the nonprofit that Pharmacist works at. And it was really fun. And that gave us so much to build off of for each other and the world and everything. And it has, after I think 6 or 8 sessions, has really helped solidify how we feel about the world and each other. And that is a very positive thing. So that's a green flag. I'm now just slowly talking about more and more good things, but I guess these are things to look out for. And if there is a lack of these things, not necessarily a full red flag, but that it might not come together as well. Keeper Day says, come order a book with suggestions on how to start a campaign or a one-shot to get away from the meet in a tavern trope. I'd have one of those different settings on how to adapt them. I mean, that's a great one, Keeper Days. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how just a small thing of how the party meets, like a. I mean, you could make it as like a D100 table or something. It doesn't have to be a table, but like, yeah, that would be. I mean, I think that's a nice little resource to have. Picrit, your posts are showing, and nothing else. Really? Weird. I don't know why YouTube's being weird today. Sorry. It is working, but yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that for you. Thank you for informing me, though. Ooh, any creepier vibes? Sir John Arbuckle says DM insisting on making the situations horny. Very much depending on the vibes. I've played with people where again, it's a table consent thing of like, oh, this is the vibe we're going for. These are the limits of what we want to play with. And like, I've been with some groups that we're all like, no, let's just go bananas. But like, that's an agreed upon thing that we are all on board with. So yeah, if it's like just trying to make everything horny, red flag. Oh, now YouTube is blowing up. Hi. Playing with bad DMs says Norse by Northwest. That's funny. Says playing with bad DMs is also good for learning things. Mostly bad DMs aren't really bad all around. I agree. Most of the time, the bad stuff is like I mean, there's been a few that have just been very bad, but usually it is like specific things that can be worked on, that can be improved. Hopefully they want to. But I mean, like, even for me, like, there's stuff that I have to get better at. Like, where it's always a case of learning and doing more. And Discordia says, Miss T gave me a lot of advanced warning on what they're planning to run next, so I'm working on characters already. That being said, when session 0 rolls around, I'm going to be listening to what other players are interested in and seeing whether doing something differently could make for a more interesting story. That's a really great point, Discordia. A, rad, good for you. B, yeah, being able to adapt. You want to do the half Griffin Bard, and that's not the tone of the game. Is that person willing to change a little bit? I think that's an important thing to be like, oh, okay, I will adapt. Deshin mentioning about the where to meet says Pathfinder tackles that rather well. TLDR, the PCs are part of Pathfinder Guild who take jobs in the world. Yeah, so that's a good one. It's just you all work for a particular organization, and then you are all basically co-workers, and it's kind of a flight attendant situation where it's like you don't know which other people you're gonna be with, but like there's gonna be someone else there. What is it? There's another one like that, but I don't remember. I think West Marsh is similar. I know I've done that where I'm like, oh, part of the session 0 is like you are low on money and have taken a job from this person. Why are you low on money? Why did you agree to take this job? Like informing them. And it could be like, I was robbed, or like, I'm just bad with money. It's up to them. Discord says, on the subject of ST provided directions versus player agency, my Vamp ST, which is storyteller, for those who don't know World of Darkness, is basically the DM, operates a point of divine inspiration where if we get stuck spinning our wheels, we can cash that in once per session for some sort of help getting out of a decision loop. That's really good. That's a really smart idea. Hip says just notice any all pronouns. In my language, we call that he, she, it, same word. So it's kind of easier in 21st century. Yeah. I mean, all that works. I wish there was an easier way in English, but What's at a party? Escape a prison and met in session 0.5. Nice. Hey, Gargadargus. Crawdad King of Mars says a long time ago I had PCs meet at a festival, and that worked nicely. Good reason for people to be there, do a little world building. Lots of civilians for the heroes to save when the bad guys show up. Ooh, that's really good. That's smart. I like that. English kind of sucks a little. Yeah, not the best. I loved North by Northwest says I love when Free League used to give out free books to people who ran their games at cons. But when they started a run of bad scenarios by Ontario, it got a lot harder to stay motivated to do a good job. Aw, dang. Them has been normal. It has been around for hundreds of years. Oh, yeah. Today's topic is not pronouns, but yes, like non-binary has been very common in many cultures all over the world. Perfect time for an ad. Oh no, I'm sorry. Flambadea saying for me, a red flag is a DM that is obviously always trying to impress the players with their own work rather than letting the players shine. Yeah. You want a mix of doing a cool thing, which make people go, whoa, and supporting other people to do cool thing so that the other players can go, whoa, and then they can feel good about it. Like, it's collaborative storytelling. Charlotte Blade saying, so I want to know something. What is one supposed to do when the party member finds their lost parent? Why are they looking for their lost parent? Revenge? Reunion? Question? I think that really depends. And then maybe either be a support or a foil for that, depending on your character's dynamics. Hey, Incarnadine. Oh, gifting a sub to North by Northwest. Yeah, if you ever want a random gift sub, just say, "Oh no, ad." Carnadine might come through. Also, I should have all this stuff muted. If for some reason you're hearing weird things, let me know. Hey, Deebs, how's it going? It's okay if you're late. The question is written right there. How can you tell if GM is going to be good or bad or not? What are the red flags to look out for? Does everybody have an ad at the same time? I'm not actually sure. All right, so I feel like that's probably the answer. Vibes, caring, cooperativeness. All those are solid. Deep saying, I don't know if there's a good way to tell if someone will be a good GM until you're part of a game. If they're asking a lot of pre-game questions, the kind of questions they're asking can be an indicator. Also, how willing they are to work with you on your pre-game questions and character building. Excellent points, the more interactive they are, usually, the better it's going to be. Hey, Salvador. Good evening to you. Yeah, it's unshockingly communication. Big part of it. Julia, I don't know if you're here. I hope that answered your question. If not, I'm real sorry, and you can let me know. Deshed Crossing, by the way, I have a follow-up on the story from last week. Said reached out to some places locally, and this one group does an event every 2 months with one-shots, which I can book and take part in. Yeah! Awesome! I'm so glad. I hope it's really fun. Do they play like the same like system every week? Or I mean every 2 months? Or is it like a new system? Yeah, main thing's communication. All things come from that. It's pretty important. Unsurprising. They play primarily D&D, which is fine. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you found a group that's doing that. And every 2 months means if you need a little more, maybe there's another off group that doesn't do the same 2 months that you can join. Then you'll have a game every month. And the founder of this group is my old friend from college, Small World. Oh, that's awesome. It means I get first dibs on booking too? Heck yeah. Aw, I'm so glad. That makes me so freaking happy. Like, not only is it's someone you're familiar with, but like that you found a group to play with. So watch out for these red flags. Communicate. And one of the DMs of the group is my work colleague's brother. Oh, that's fun. Dang. Small world indeed. That's rad. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna bring up the next question as I look around my microphone. Can I? Nope, too big. Oh, wait. Nope. I got this. There we go. I made it fit. Typical multi-lifestyle. Mom used to say, don't talk bad about someone at a bus stop. Half the people there know the person you're talking about, and the other half are blood relatives to that person. That's funny. I think there's a few typos in this one. So I'm gonna try and summarize. So this is from the Ape Escape, #1 fan. Thanks. This is my PC keeps dying. How do I come up with more PC than expected to die? So I think how many like characters keep dying? How do I come up with more characters that I know are gonna die? How do I utilize all of my PC abilities? Is there so much PS? I'm not sure what PS is. New player here. Player count, maybe. Okay, I guess if you have like, especially if you're doing like Morkborg or like some sort of meat grinder game. Also Ape Escape fan, if you're here, welcome to clarify anything. But like if you have a character, the difference, I feel like a big difference between a character of like, I'm gonna use this in a long-term campaign hopefully, and like I expect a character to die, is have a really fun primary hook. What is it that you want to do with this character? And what is a secondary thing you want to do with this character? Don't build it off of just one thing. have a little secondary thing. Then all that extra stuff, your backstory or other fun stuff, things that aren't related to one of those two things, extra stuff that you can get around to if you want to. Have something immediately fun that you can just gravitate towards and really hone in on. So like when I was running Zombie Apocalypse campaign for a long time, that was a big thing of like, you might die. And people would come up with a fun idea. One person who had a whole bunch of characters that died quickly came up with them. I might have said the story before. Came up with a character named Dusk who had prepared for the vampire apocalypse, and then the zombie apocalypse happened. So they had all the wrong tools, but tried to use them to the best of their abilities. That character managed to live a long time, and it was a joke, but it worked out. So like, having a little thing, or like the Mork Borg thing of like rolling, like here's your weapon, here's your stats, here's your stuff. Try and figure out, all right, here's something fun I can do with that. Here's a little lore bit. Here's a fun voice I've just been wanting to do. Here's an attitude I want to embrace. Find that. Be okay with, don't put too much into it if you know it's going to die because you want something for the next character. That would be my advice. Deep saying, I don't have anything for how to come up with more characters other than have a bunch of characters you already want to use. Also worth getting some follow-up info on is expected from a game. Did y'all sign up for a punishing game where everyone dies, or is the DM just being kind of a jerk? Yeah, I don't know because I don't think they're here. But that is a good thing of like, is the DM just being a jerk? That's a red flag. Incarnate saying it may or may not help, but keeping a character diary where you keep all your little ideas that pop into your head for things that'll be fun to do as a PC. That's a very good idea, especially when you know you might be rapid firing them. Yeah, it was a really fun character idea. I really enjoyed that character. A couple months ago, my character in a Ravenloft game died. It was gnarly. Ooh. Was it vampires? It's not an electronic PC. Oh, Deep's remembering the second part of the actual question. Saying in terms of using all your abilities, the thing is that I find the most helpful is to have little cards with your abilities written on them. This can get out of hand when you get more abilities and can start to get ahead if you're a spellcaster, but I find it useful if you've got a handful of abilities, you have them physically in front of you, you can easily pursue. Deebs, that's a really good idea for using your ability, keeping track of the abilities you have. Because in the superhero game, I've currently filled my abilities section of my player sheet, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going next on this sheet. And just having a bunch of like little cards with them on them is a really good idea. Maybe like a little organizational thing of like, what is this useful for? Tags of like combat, exploration, social abilities, like that kind of stuff. So I can kind of look through in like an upper corner of like, oh, I need something that's good for fighting and only look for ones with a combat tag. It's a really good idea, Deebs. Deshin saying, cheeky trick once per session. Don't even change the PC, just write Junior on the name and say they're there to avenge their parent who taught you everything you know, so legally you inherit all their equipment. Yep. Junior. Just the same surname, be a sibling. Esquire? You were the squire of that person? I don't know if that's what Esquire means. Probably not. Crawdhead saying he got ripped apart. Ripped to pieces by Strahd himself. Classy. That's very classy. I mean, if you're going to go in a Ravenloft campaign, get ripped apart by Strahd. Random character generated idea, says Durathal. Think of 2 characters you like and mash them together. What if the Hulk with Aang's personality? That's a great way to do it. Honestly, I really like that. Bet having cards would also help keep track of what you used per day kind of things. Yeah, for like spells. For spells, I found the easiest thing is to have a sheet of paper and then have you put it in the clear sheets and then you just have washable markers. And so you have like, oh, I have this many spell slots or this much mana, and then you're marking it on the erasable sheet. And then at the end of the day, or you drink a mana potion or whatever, you can wipe stuff away. And then as things change, you can take the sheet out and write new spells or change things. Tessero, I think you have a question. I'll get to you in a moment. Color coding for sorting. Ooh, that's a really good idea. North saying he's finding a weird question. Unsure. Group wouldn't help with this by default. Is that like a D&D community kind of thing? It really depends on the group. I would think. I would love some more answers for that. But yeah, I only have what we have. Some DMs might be a little more hands off, but yeah, it seems like being able, if you have an issue, definitely ask questions. Hopefully the GM will answer. But yeah, the diary of just here's a dumb idea, write it down. So when you need a character, boom, there you go. And yeah, for having abilities, writing them down on a separate sheet or like little cards, very helpful. Then you can use all your abilities, and hopefully maybe you won't die as much. Keep adding junior, the third, the fourth, etc. Yeah. There's an old Epic game where every time you respawn, you're narratively playing the child of your character. That was a rogue, uh, like Rogue Legacy, right? That was the shtick of that roguelike. I've made some cards for kid in his game. Oh, that's cute. Every new life playing Descent of the Last. That's cool. That is a. I do need to play that game. All right, let me read your question, Zero. Ooh, 00, good question. 00 says, this is something I wonder about a lot. Why have tabletop RPG rules instead of unstructured play? What are the rules there for? If that makes sense, would be interested to hear your take on this question. Yeah, absolutely. Says, oh, that's from a different thing. Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a way of balancing everybody's abilities and expectations. If you are playing a Pathfinder, no one has the infinite ammo crossbow versus, if you're just playing make believe, then you're just like, oh, I got the infinite ammo crossbow. It's also rapid fire. There's a set of rules that allow you to have everybody be on a bit of a level playing field. So that's one thing. Another thing is you get to get ideas from other people. If you are playing rules lists, you are bound to what you can think of. What you think a barbarian's powers should be is what a barbarian's powers are going to be, versus reading about this designed barbarian's like, oh, this is a cool bear. Oh, a druid. Oh, interesting. What's that? Oh, an artificer. Oh, what do they do? I expected this, but this is that. Interesting. So you are allowed to experience. You are given the chance to experience things from another person's point of view. Um, it is also introducing failure and complication, which is incredibly important in storytelling. Which is why I really like the randomized element of games rules of like, you know, you do have to roll or draw a card or pull a Jenga block. You have to do something that has a chance to not do the thing you want. And then you still have to move forward with the story. What does your character do? How does that affect the world? You really bungled this. And that is something that narratively and maybe mechanically will come back later and affect you. So those are, I think, key things. If I had to like boil it down to three, I think those are three key things that make it different and make it matter. I mean, same with board games. Like, yeah, we could just. I have telestrations and monstrosity. We could just draw funny pictures at each other, and that could be cool. But the limitations of those rules, the expectations, the we're all sharing a time limit, all these things that are happening are creating the game versus just the act of we're drawing silly little monsters. Does that make sense? I'll hit you, Del Dragon. Sick hairstyle inspired me to do the same with my own hair. Cool. I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy having a mohawk or a coxcomb or whatever you call it. Or if you do something different but cool, good for you. I gotta scroll up on the chat because I was answering that and was not reading chat. Ba, ba, ba. Hepjix says I'm out of my depth with TTRPG stuff, but it's nice to listen and read and participate. Heck yeah, that's what this is here for. You are very welcome to listen and read and participate. We're happy you're here. The rules keep everyone on the same page and avoiding god moding, says Silvera. Yeah, that's another thing. Deep saying a lot of people find the structure way that helps them feel like they're allowed to play pretend, if that makes sense. Absolutely. You're not just going in the backyard swinging sticks at each other. These are LARP weapons. These are designed for a thing. You have a character. There are rules. There's stuff. Yeah, like those limitations allow you to often be more expressive. And also, as you were saying, give you permission to do that thing where it's like, oh, playing make-believe is for kids. I can't do that anymore. But playing RPGs is for adults, and that's fine. RPGs without rules is improv. As someone who does not enjoy improv, you are correct, and that's why I like rules. If the rules introduce randomness, it can be a great way to inspire yourself, something you always... like an improv, yeah. Norse. Very important to have that surprise. Tessero saying, thank you for the answer. Definitely makes sense. Okay, good. I'm so glad. Deep saying, yeah, completely unstructured play can potentially result in, well, I have a force field, well, I have a laser gun that shoots through force fields, well, a laser blasts off of me, well, I have a rocket launcher. Yeah. That just one-upmanship that nothing can stop Mr. Domino. Like, just do whatever you want. And that it's cool for you, but it's not necessarily cool for the person who has the laser shield. That you now have the anti-laser shield gun. Where the rules, yeah, give you that level of like, well, we're kind of on the same playing field. And also specialization. Like, not everything is equally balanced. but they are all situational. So if you have, really good stealth and a really good backstab, yeah, you're not going to win on a fair one-on-one fisticuffs fight, but like that's not where you shine. You're just going to stab someone in their sleep and win before they know that the fight started. Much easier way. So it says I love having a spell list and each player interpreting a way the spell looks differently. Oh yeah, I think that flavoring a spell differently should basically be mandatory. Not literally, but pretty much. Constraints and complications make for more creativity and executions as Rinithal. Yeah, I agree. Mushroom Man multiply behind me? Yes, I have 2 grinder bins. You too could have 1 or 2 grinder bin play. You have as many as you want. I have they sent when they were originally doing them. I got the prototype, and then once they were out, we got 1 of each. So like each of us got our own prototype to like clear it, and then after they got done, they sent a full stack of them. So it means I have 2 grinder bins. They're multiplying. Make believe with anti-cheat. That's funny. Crawdad bringing up even improv as rules. All the traditional game/skits have a structure and expectations to the performers about it. There's the yes and rule. That keeps things flowing. If the crowd gives only bad suggestions, you pretend you heard a good one, etc. Yeah, that's a really good point, Crawdad. The improv does actually have rules. Kind of the same vein of keeping everyone on the same page, says Deebs, but the rules of a game also help maintain a tone. That's true. Oh, it's a different link now, Crawdad. Hang on. Because they're not on the we have completely removed ourselves from Shark Robot. We are now on DFTBA. Can I? Yeah. Look at them plushies. Yeah, if you go to Shark Robot, you won't find anything. Well, I mean, you'll find stuff. They still exist as a website, but none of our stuff's on there. Yeah, look at them plushies. It's so great. Frozen Socks. What a great name. Hi, Jesse. You gave $5 to say hi. Hi. Thank you. Hi to you. To Zero saying, it sounds like the main themes are that they stop others from dominating the RP. They give structure and limitations, which help creativity and create complications and unpredictability. Yes, very much so. I'm sure if we, I don't know, we could probably break that down even more, but I have a few more questions and eventually have to leave, so I'm gonna move on now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. But before we move on, says rules can also help subverting expectations with storytelling, etc. When the goddess of my world replied to above table conversation, it changed the story and the game for my players. Oh, that's fun. Is it because like it's a god, so it knows like more information than like what would just be happening in game, and thus it can understand and reply to above table conversations. Kathorian? I don't know. I think it's Cathonian. Ooh, Crawdad King of Mars saying also a lot of RPG players like rules themselves. That guilty. Some folks find a lot of joy in building characters, finding just the right combo of features and all that. D&D grew out of wargaming way back in the day, and the strain is still in there. That's true. That is very true. Yes, nature of the world. That's so good. I love the idea of a god in a game replying to table talk because it's a god. Oh, that's so good. Hippogix says, I want to start playing D&D style CRPGs, but BG3 is too expensive. Do you have a beginner-friendly one that isn't new or high production? I would highly recommend Larian's game before Baldur's Gate 3, which was Divinity Original Sin 2. Divinity Original Sin 1, also really good. Those will drop on sale for like $10 or less. Highly recommend those. If other people have suggestions for CRPGs for Hippogix. Ever tried making a god or religion in D&D? Oh yeah, absolutely. I've done streams about making religions. It's great. It's really fun to do. In game, not in real life. I don't make religions in real life. That I'm aware of. But yeah, Divinity 2 is really good. That style, I think there's that Shadowrun one that came out several years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I've heard people say good things about that. Crawdad saying the old Baldur's Gate games on GOG. Yeah, that's probably good, but like Neverwinter and like uh what is it called? Torment, Tides of Numenera. I've heard good things about it. Yeah, Torment, Tides of Numenera. It's from I think some of the developers that did the like Planescape Torment games. And they made a Numenera one. Oh, it's like 75% off right now too. But yeah, it's set in the Numenera world. Yeah, it's currently $8.74. It's 75% off. So I've heard good things about it. I've not played that one. It might have been the original Fallout devs. I don't remember. It's from Tim? Okay, so RPG question. Any from Prince Casper from last week. Prince Casper, I don't know if you're here. If you are, more information. But it says any advice on dealing with writer's block as a GM. And I saw someone immediately put, oh yeah, Norris said writer's block, steal shamelessly. Yeah, it's great. Honestly, be like, because one of the fun things about stealing and putting it in a tabletop RPG is like, I could be like, oh, I'm going to steal the plot of the first Tomb Raider. They're going to go into a cave, they're going to find weird stuff, and then it'll end in some sort of living meat palace in Atlantis. Original Tomb Raider is absolutely bananas game. Even me having that roadmap of what to do that I will attempt to go down specifically, players are going to take some wild turns. And so we might not get to Atlantis, or like how we get there is going to end up being very different, or their dynamic with the villain is going to be different. There's so many things that are going to change because of the intrusion from the players, intrusion in a good way. That if you don't just try and railroad them to live through a movie that you like, it's going to be a different story. So yeah, stealing's great. Deep saying that this does not always work, but I have on some occasions been able to overcome writer's block by abandoning my plans for what the players will be coming up on next and try to write for a completely different area or quest or whatever. If you can get going with that, then sometimes just gets the juices flowing and you can be channeled back into the thing that you need to write in the first place. That's really good advice, Deebs. Yeah, a big part is write something. It does help get your mind in that mode. And then if you can finish up the thing, you've got something set up for where you can go next, or something for a good interlude, or like next story arc, something. So yeah, Deebs, that's very good advice. That is probably the biggest thing that I would suggest is if you can't write the thing that you need to write right now, write something else right now. And then say write as many times as you can in a sentence. Oh, it's Tim Kaine. Oh, okay. Silvera saying, how do I deal with writer's block? Is I find someone I can bounce ideas off of. Just talking to someone can make my thoughts become more coherent. Absolutely agree with that. This is a great way to deal with it. And the bard rolls to seduce the villain. Yep. I've been shucking clams, says Mirathi. To eat, I would assume. Epic saying I would steal from a obscure forward book. Maybe a classic. Nobody reads those. Maybe. Discordia saying, personally, I find ideas flow more freely when I go out for a walk and listen to music. Yeah, get moving. Change your environment. That's a huge boon. Oh, clam chowder. Nice. Deep says, yeah, if you have someone to bounce ideas off of, it could be that could be huge. Back when I was GMing, the only people I could go to were the people playing the game, so I would hesitate to give them that insider info, but sometimes it's all you've got. True. You can also kind of give them information and see how they react to it if they are your players, though. And then as they react positively or negatively to what you're saying, or intrigued or dismissive, then you can kind of lean towards the things that they seem more excited about. So it can still be helpful, but yeah, it's definitely easier when it's not a player. My hubby helps you from time to time. Yes. Rope your significant other into it. Yeah, seriously. Advice for writer's block: bouncing ideas off of people, just writing something, even if it's not the same thing that you have to work on right now. Also, another thing, communication. Talk to your players. Find out what they're most interested in, and let that kind of be a guide for you. And it does have to be hey guys, I'm struggling and I'm not sure what to write. What do you want? But a kind of stars and wishes thing where it's like, oh, I want to update our stars and wishes, or like, oh, I have I just heard about this thing called stars and wishes. Can we do that? Everybody put down some stuff, and then hey, that could be very helpful too. And I mean, what I guess another thing is advice for dealing with writer's block is what joy do you get out of it, and try to focus on that. Like, don't just stress about, oh, I didn't write enough, oh, I didn't do this. Like, what is it that you like about DMing? What is it that you like about writing? Try and remember that and channel that. That's a little bit like saying, well, just relax when you're stressed, but like, it is important to remember why you are doing this, why it matters to you. Reading books for inspiration? Absolutely. Like, soaking in some other media, and media of like different types. Don't just binge watch 1,000 TV shows. Like, watch a show, watch a movie, read a novel, read a comic book, play a game, surf a webcomic, read some SCP. Like, getting it from different angles can help can help kind of formulate something, and so you're not just trying to build a modern TV show because you've binged so many of them. The different ways that something can come about is very helpful. Hey, Crusher, can I submit an RPG question? Sure, I might have to get to it next week, but you can submit one. Oh, how do I? Just type it in chat. Just say, hey, I have a question. Rubber ducking coding. Yes. Basically talking to someone else is rubber ducking. It's great. Also try rubber ducking. Turn to your personal blue eyes white dragon on your desk and tell it your DM problems. Works every time. Oh, Karen's saying for the players replying to God, so the player made a deal with her for help in return to bring snacks, making a sacrifice. Next session, they brought a feast and got a monstrous pet to help them. That's freaking brilliant. I love that. One of the game groups I used to play with, we had a running list of we would rotate DMs, and we had the running list of DM bribes of this amount of food is worth this many rerolls, or this amount of food is worth this many intrusions, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's great. Good. I like where your head's at. Karen saying, steal from enough sources and mash them together often enough, it starts to look original. Yeah, it's a great way to do it. Also saying, looking for a cause and effect helps too. As in, players did this. Does my BBG know? How would they respond? How do other NPCs in the world respond, etc.? Yeah, it's a really great way to do it. Hey, Kostos. You're not too late. I mean, no, you're not too late. Ooh. Crusher saying, I have a question. How do you make a game that requires no DM? Crusher, do you mean make as in like design and you have a book of how game is played, or make like you want to make a campaign that does not have a DM? Like create an actual game. I mean, I guess the same way you make any other game is you start making it. First, be very familiar with the genre. How many GM-less games have you played? Which ones do you like? What elements of those do you like? What do you not like about them? What are the games you don't like? What are the things that you don't like about them? What can you do to make a game that will be good enough, fun enough, and different enough that you wouldn't just use an established system. And then focus on that. So like I've made games where it's like, oh, I just want less math. Okay. How do I make this? Like it's very much just trying to figure out what you want out of it and what's going to make it different from something else. Because I made games that were like too close to other games where it's like, I didn't really need to make this. I basically just made a special mechanic that you could have tacked onto another game. And then I made games that were very different. And then sometimes I've made games that were different and then went, you know, it's too close to this other one. I'll just use this established one. I don't really need to make this. I just want a dungeon crawling TTRPG, but without all the work as a GM. I feel like that has to. I'm not huge on GM-less games, so I don't know if anybody has suggestions of GM-less games. Feel free to pitch, but like, I am sure there are some out there, like dungeon crawl, like either as pre-made stuff or like basically just a like randomly generated dungeons with tables. It's like you go in here, roll a thing. Guess what's in here? 97. Oh, it's this. This is what you find. It's bad. It's good. It wants to kill you. It wants to be your friend. I feel like that has to exist. Marith D agreeing with me. Like a Morkborg would probably work really well for that. There's got to be. Is there a? Because the one that I've played that I really liked was Emberwind, and that could be GM-less, and that's basically like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. And like all the enemies have like basically a flow chart of like, is character within this range, we'll do this to them. Is character not within this range, they'll do this. Is health below half HP, we'll do this. And so things are built that way. So Emberwind is the only one I personally can recommend as like that style of RPG. Yeah, Die Laughing is a DM-less one. But that is not a dungeon crawl. Old D&D board games says Merit D, and like Gloomhaven says Merit D. Yeah, so something like that. Does it need to be an RPG? Are you okay with a board game? Why do I have pandas on my head? They're little mushrooms. They're mushrooms with skulls on them. They are kind of like pandas, though. Hi, Epitaph. And Katrin saying the cause and effect for writer's block is also very solid advice. Just looking at the situation, saying what would happen next. Very much if you have your BBEG, are they aware of it? Because they should be, regardless, they should be doing stuff on their own. They should be advancing. They should be doing the machinations. North saying there's also Alice is Missing, Dialect, Thespian, and Daughters of Verana. Keeper Day saying Ironsworn from Tomkin Press is a GM-less TTRPG, and they have sci-fi one called Starforged too. Have you played it, Keeper Days? Or Carnadine, or anybody? I just want something fun for everyone where it takes free roam games and combines it with TTRPG without a hassle. Yeah, that's well, maybe look into Ironsworn, see if that looks interesting to you. Yeah, Emberwind is the only one that I've played that seems up your alley that uh, I could suggest. I played a few others, but not that I'd be like, yeah, you should look into this game. Where can I find it? I will link it to you. Hang on. You could find it right here. Emberwind. Oh, emberwindgame.com. Here you go. I'll put it in YouTube chat just for fun. They're little mushrooms. Cute. Yeah, they are little mushrooms. And they are cute. But yeah, that's the website for Emberwind. So if you want to check it out, you can. Oh, Mansions of Madness. Where is that? It's on my shelf. I think it's over there. I think it's on that shelf right there. Yeah, Mansions of Madness is fun. It is kind of like that. Kind of an AIGM. Where, like, you just go through it. Mansions of Madness is what the D&D board game is based on, I think, says Marathi. Oh. Of course it costs money. Well, if you... it does cost money. It is game. There's probably... If you check itch.io and look for GM-less RPGs, you'll probably find some that are probably also free. Quality, who knows? But there's probably some really good stuff on there. Of like smaller developers just being like, oh, hello thing. Oh, Keeper Day saying Ironsworn Digital is free. So there you go. There's one. Sometimes I miss being a player, but I have trouble turning off the DM brain. I find myself correcting players or answering for the DM. Yeah. You gotta. Sometimes you gotta shut that part off, and it's very difficult to do. This is a very nice chat, Jesse, says North by Northwest. Right? I feel like I want to say a real curated good chat. I feel like I haven't really done any curating. I just show up here, and y'all just be great. So keep doing that. We're here to make Jesse look good. Oh, thanks. RPG off the desk is always great. Ah, thanks. But yeah, it's a really good, like, y'all are really good. I've so help me. What, knock on wood? Have not had to like straight kick anybody out from these chats. Yeah, it is kind of a wholesome community. I really like it. I mean, I really enjoy the Second One community that I interact with y'all. Any other WRNU here? I don't know what that means. It's an incredibly helpful stream. Also, hi everyone. Thanks. Thanks, Dice Crown. All right. We answered that. I'm going to move on to the next question. Being mean takes up too much energy. Mood. It's weird. It's almost like having chill vibes motivates everyone else to be chill. Be the not toxicity you want to see in the world. Chill Penguin, if you're here, cool. You've stuck around for an entire week. If not, I'm gonna ask you a question anyway. Chill Penguin asked, do you have any advice for putting together an adventure in a hurry? Concept's always easy. I just seem to get bogged down in writing descriptions and hashing out puzzles. You don't need puzzles. You don't need all the details. And the answer is shorthand. Like, oh, details. The wind bellows through the windows and rattles the tapestries on the wall that make a particular sound that's actually the code for the safe or whatever. You don't need all that. You need tapestries move in wind, typing code. It's the number of taps that they move, and that's the code for the safe. Boom. Like, don't get bogged. Like, the easiest way to not get bogged down in details is don't get bogged down. Like, if you write that short sentence and then you go, now someone's asking about it, you can then be flowery with your language. If time permitted. Maybe it's like you're about to wrap session or something. But like, use shorthand and leave those long, lengthy things. That sentence. Could just use one of those words, but whatever. Use that in the moment versus writing the book about them. So that's a way to do it in a hurry. When you'll jog your memory when you see the cool stuff you've written in shorthand, and then be like, oh yeah, this was the puzzle I wanted. And like, same for writing how the puzzle works. Write that in shorthand. Let players fiddle with it. If you know the basics of how it will work, then you know how to respond to a player who interacts with it either in a way that you expected or possibly even in ways you didn't. That'd be my suggestion. Deep says, if you want puzzles, you don't need as many puzzles as you think. It will always take longer to solve puzzles than you think. Generally, yeah. You can also pull the patented Jack Packard, which is you just provide elements that seem like a puzzle, and then when the players feel like they've solved it, you go, that was the solution, and then the door opens or whatever. Also valid if you need to make puzzles very quickly. You just have that. Weird elements together. Sylvia says, the simpler the puzzle, the longer they take to figure out it. Sometimes, yeah. I have tons of stuff from TTRPGs from itch.io from bundles for some reason. Most of them are about Mothership. Because Mothership is amazing and has a lot of support. That's probably why. I've been having a great Fate game on Saturday, says Crime Bastard. Good. Fate's an awesome system. I'm glad you're having a really good game with it. Players are most likely to overthink puzzles and take longer. Yeah, it's true. Deep saying, I prefer to have a solution in mind, but give it up to the better solution the players will often come up with. Also valid. Just they think of a better thing, and there it is. I guess that answers your question, or at least I hope it does, Chill Penguin. I don't know, you're not here. But you can at me in the thing if you need jigsaw puzzle piece. Ape Escape fan saying, how do I write a backstory that is not copy-paste backstory from a known character? Someone mentioned earlier the mashing up two things, like the Hulk and Aang. That's one way to do it. But mostly, I think the biggest thing is, I know this is Ape Escape again, so I know they're not here, unless you've shown up, in which case, let me know. Is like, what do you want to write about? Like, what makes the backstory interesting? focus on that. If you are having trouble thinking of something, then I guess that's kind of a separate question, but it's like, just what is interesting? What story do you want to tell? What situations do you want this person to show up in? And then have that be part of the backstory. Of they're shy, but they're trying to break out of their shell, or they're extremely confident, but are running from their past. Lots of things you could do. What do you like? What do you want to expand on? What do you want to reveal? And what do you want to hide? Let that shape it. Oh, Dice Crown says, not sure how many questions in the list, but my players are going up against BBG next week, and they are greatly outranked, but can basically call upon a divine favor. How do I make them the fight feel earned and not like they're immediately going to perish? Oh, man. It's a good question. Oh, Crybastard also bringing up, make your backstory with other player characters involved. They will definitely throw you a curveball. Totally agree. Get them involved. How do you know each other? Where have your paths pathed? Where have your paths crossed? Good or bad? Rolling random details. That's a really good one. Is that a Spawn shirt? No. It's Rat City All-Stars. It's a roller derby team. I got it at a swap. At a roller derby. Deep saying, for me, 2 important things for coming up with a backstory is 1, what's the setting like? And what's something in the setting that you want to be a part of? And 2, general ideas of what personality you want the character to have and what kind of life they led. A life that they led to them having that kind of personality. Wholeheartedly agree with you, Deebs. Rat Beach, wake up, your team shirt is here. Okay, so let me get this straight, Dice Crown. They are outclassed by the BBEG, but they have this divine favor that is calling upon the 4 Fae Queens of the seasons to lock away the Unseelie Queen. Is the Unseelie Queen the BBEG? The ads are starting. Are scarring with a screaming man. Oh no. She is. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So you could have, just throwing a few ideas out there. You could have like the favor that the 4 queens can give. You can only do one at a time. And it takes, like a round or whatever to summon them, to have them show up. And then they could come with the price. Like, oh, you want me to do, I'm the Summer Queen Court Fairy. Oh, you want me to do this and make this fight easier? Sure. For thing player doesn't want to give up. And then it's like, well, maybe we could keep fighting them. Maybe we'll get lucky. Or like, ooh, we can get 2 out of 4 help to lower it some, but the cost is too much. We don't want to do more. That's one thing you could do. You could also design the fight to be, and I don't know how many people are in this fight, but a good way to do it is that you have like kind of overwhelming numbers against you. And so the first couple rounds are just an onslaught. Like you are just losing hard. But in those first couple rounds, when you attack, you manage to take out 6-8 people. Okay. Now the third round, you're doing a little better. Oh, okay. Oh, there's not so many attacks hitting us. Oh, maybe we have this, and then being able to kind of come back from that. You're still on the back foot because you've lost so many resources, so much health. You use health potions, use your big spells, whatever, at the beginning of that fight. So you are losing those resources, and so you're going to get scrappier as you go. So that's another way to do it. And like maybe the BBEG is kind of doing something else. So they're shooting one spell off and then going back to their machinations. And it's only when they get through a bunch of the henchmen or whatever that the big bad is like, oh, okay, cool. Now the lyrics of the song come up and stage 2 of the boss fight begins. And now you get to see my true power of 3 spells per turn, bang, 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 or whatever. So that's another way you could do it, or an additional way of trying it out. Mirthi saying because otherwise it's a great MacGuffin to reduce the BBG to an appropriate rank. Yeah, I would say the reduce over time. They have to choose to get someone's favor and like choose that as their action. And then like that there's a cost. Rat City Roller Derby is my neck of the woods. Get out of here. I don't even know where this is. So that's cool. Hey, Incarnadine, thank you for gifting the sub to Objects. Since those ads are startling. Ooh, Merithy's saying another option is to into a survival fight where they need to summon each queen by doing a thing, but only one could be summoned per turn or every other turn. Yeah, yeah. They love to take names, the Silvera. It's true. Did someone say Fey Queen? It did, we did, Discordia. This favor to seal the unseelie queen away could require a big ritual so that the fight is less. Can you defeat her? And more, can you complete the ritual before she stops you? That's a good point, Deeps. It's a good way to do it. I'd aim to only have the illusion of player choice, though. Oh, okay. I mean, so it's built around, basically you would build the idea of like, oh, if every turn a player is going to be, one player is going to be doing the ritual and aren't going to be taking actions, then you are essentially aiming the fight to be for one less player. Because it's like, oh no, from a player perspective, you could be like, oh my gosh, we have to not fight for one person has to not fight for a round. Oh, that's going to be terrible. They're going to overwhelm us. But you, as the storyteller, as the DM, have crafted the fight specifically for one less player. You've shaped it that way. And then you can also, tweak your numbers a little bit if you need to. Dice Crown says, I do like that. She can summon minions. The four season queens have agreed to perform a sealing ritual, so maybe they have like 5 rounds while the ritual is going, and they have to keep her beat down. Yeah. Rat City is the nickname of a neighborhood in south of Seattle. Oh. Well, now I know where this is from. Hey, that's the other coast. That's so far. So is that Dice Crown? Is that good answers? Do you need more? Because, yeah, it could be a matter of like, You could also set it so, rather than summoning the queens are already there and they're doing the ritual, and you just the players just have to protect them. And now you can just throw all sorts of curveballs of like fireballs coming from the ceiling. And it's like, oh, I cast a net around them to protect them. Yay. And it's like, sweet. The floor's turning to lava. Shit. We got to do something else. The air is now gaseous and people are choking. And, if they breathe for another 2 turns, they're not going to be able to do the ritual. Like, so there's things that they could be doing that's a lot more than just, combat. Yes, there can also be minions attacking and you've got to, fend them off and do other things, or they'll just smack the queens with a hammer. But, like, there's so much more you can do with that and complicate it. That is helpful. Yay. I do have to go. So I just realized what time it was, and I need to leave. Shaping combat is brutal. Oh, yeah, I love shaping combat. It's like one of the best things you can do. Dice Crown, I also saw that I have another question from you from last week about your regular campaign is about to end, its current arc. So I might have to answer that in Discord. Yeah. It's past bedtime. It is past bedtime. I got to eat spaghetti and play games. So I have to leave. Thanks for streaming. You're very welcome. Yeah, and you can just put it in the RPG Help Desk channel if you want to, because that's probably the easiest way. So thanks for coming, everybody. Is the question, what's next? It was ending the main arc, but still have other major things to wrap up. How to move into that transition, which I feel like is a great question. So not what is next, but how to get to what is next. You're very welcome. Thank you, Dice Crown. Thanks, Keeper Dace. Thanks, Crime Bastard. Gargadargus. All right, I really do have to leave, so I'm going to go. Oh, you should come around and throw scene elements at us while we're doing improv. Next time, do a deep dive on every Batman would beat Spider-Man a fight. Depends on what system we're using. Is the answer. All right. Everybody have a great one. I will see you not next week because it is the showcase, which I'm very excited for. I am hoping to wish list like 30 different games, depending. I don't know. There's like, 60 games in the show list? The trailer says how many there are. I'm hoping that I'll see a bunch that I want. So I'm looking forward to it. I love indie games. So, all right. Bye. Have fun. I'm leaving.